We all know how to declutter our homes, do that spring cleaning, but do you know how to clean out your mind? Our good friend of the show, exclusive coach, executive coach Mitchell Creasey will join us now to tell us live. Actually, he's coming up in a few minutes. Let's wave to him. He's still there, right? Yeah, there he is. All right. Coming up in less than 3 minutes. Welcome back to Virginia This Morning, live here on CBS 6. Some of us look forward to spring because we get all that spring cleaning done, get all that clutter out of there and everything. But how about organizing your mind and kind of decluttering what's in the old noggin there, some ideas that may not be valid anymore. How are we going to do that, Jess? Our next guest is an award-winning coach who's going to talk to us about how you can achieve this mission. We welcome Mitchell Creasey back to our live show. Hey, Mitchell, good to see you, buddy.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Jessica. Lovely to be here.
Great to see you, Mitchell. And I love this idea of decluttering your mental garden. One, because I don't think we dedicate a whole lot of time to thinking about re-coordinating and clearing out those cobwebs. And two, if we think of our mind as a garden, that means it's still on the grow, right? So that's positive.
We are always a work in progress, but when we commit to pulling the weeds out regularly, what happens is the fruit, the flowers, they really start to bloom, and we get to reap the rewards that we've sown in our past here in the present.
So Mitchell, I kind of hit on this when we were talking right at the top of the show. And I said, I've heard this saying before, the older I get, the less I know. Because the things that you've learned in the past aren't valid anymore. So if you're actually paying attention, there is a lot of stuff in there that needs to come out, isn't there?
Well, that's what I love about the question. I'm a big fan of asking questions as opposed to making statements. When we ask a question, we create space for something new, something we haven't lodged in our brain already to come forward. And with that new information, a new pathway emerges. And that's really what allows us to unfold, participate in our own unfolding, and step into something new in our lives.
It sounds positive. It sounds like something that we would want to try to embrace. Mitchell, we've talked this morning about 3 tips that you'll have to offer. Can you start with number 1 on where we even begin?
So the first question I always want to ask is, what thought am I keeping within? The law of correspondence says that which I see outside of myself is a direct reflection of what's going on within me. So if I can't seem to find the time, if I can't seem to sit still, if I can't seem to get the promotion, chances are there's a thought within me that's holding that reality in place. But when I ask the question, what thought am I holding within? It invites it to the surface, which makes it so much easier to let go of so I can begin something anew.
Letting go. Okay, got to let go of some of that stuff. All right, what's number 2 on the list?
So the next question I want to ask is, what perception am I holding on to that's holding on to me? And Bill, I always think of perceptions like balconies. Right? It doesn't matter what floor you're on in the building, your view is always going to be generally fixed in one direction. Whether it's in your business, in your personal life, or in your relationships at home, you cannot outsee your perception. So when you let go of it or decide to commit to letting go of it, your view of what's possible actually starts to expand.
It's almost mind-bending, Mitchell, because even in this short time that we have together to start thinking about these questions, because the hamster wheel started spinning. I don't know if you can hear the squeaks, but it's like this, even just taking a little bit of time to start to explore this is fresh. It's mind opening.
And that's the beautiful thing about a question. It's 6 words. And if you ask it, don't try to answer, but if you just ask it, you're opening yourself up to a new way forward, something you didn't see before. And the more information we collect, the more powerful we are in our decision making.
All right, so we got 2 big ones out of the way, and I'm guessing the first one is going to kind of tie it all together for us.
So the last question I always love to ask myself is, what choice am I making that's limiting my experience? So a lot of times we make limiting choices without even knowing it. So I have to starve myself if I want to lose weight. I have to save all my money if I want to be rich. I have to be extremely nice to everybody I come in contact with if I want to be liked. But when we make a choice that says this is how it has to be, we limit the possibilities for what it is we can experience. But at the base of it all, we realize that a choice is only a choice, and we can make as many as we want whenever we want. And when we choose again and commit to choosing again, we open ourselves up to ways forward we didn't even know existed.
Mitchell, when you begin working with folks as an executive coach on developing this thought process and moving forward, I would imagine you don't do all of these at one time. Do you have a place you like to start? Is there one of those 3 questions that's a good one to begin with?
I think the first one, what thought am I keeping within? Because it's easier to look inside of yourself and go, oh, I'm just thinking about this right now. And if you can identify at least what you're thinking about, then you can ask a question that at least will offer you a different perspective or a different thought. If I'm thinking about A, well then, and I know I'm thinking about A, then perhaps I could start thinking about B.
So my big question is, how many choices have I made wrong? That's going to be too many to count.
But that's the thing.
We don't have to keep choosing that, do we, Mitchell?
No, you're never going to make an incorrect choice because everything adds up. It's always adding up. And if you had made choices different, you wouldn't be where you are today. And if you wouldn't be where you are today, you wouldn't have the perception that you have today. And if you didn't have the perception you have today, you wouldn't unfold to the perception you'll have tomorrow. So it's all adding up, and you really cannot lose.
Wow.
Man. We talked about mind bending and that's it. But in this time, I love that question, Bill. What if I made the wrong choice? But great answer, Mitchell. But in this time, thinking about that with that question number 1, something was very close to the surface and has bubbled up. So you've given us plenty to think about, Mitchell. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on, Jess.
I think we made a good choice having Mitchell on.
Yes, that was one of the good ones. Decluttering your mental garden. I'm ready. This is a good time to do it. Great insights. That's fantastic. Good talking with you, Mitchell. We really appreciate it. For more information, we will include a link today on our website, WTBR.com/VTM, so you also can start cultivating that mental garden with those 3 easy steps.